Can you retire on $1 million? The question actually should be, how can I retire with $1 million? Hello, and thank you for being here again. My name is Ben, and for the past 22 weeks, so this is week 22, day number 3. So for 22 weeks, we have been talking about what I've been doing for me to answer that question. Can you retire on $1 million? I switched it to how can I retire on $1 million? I'm actually thinking, how can I retire on $3 million, right? But I started with absolutely nothing. And so what I'm doing here is I'm just kind of recording my personal journey. I'm not a financial advisor. I'm not any of these people on a suit who are advising people on how they can do that. I am simply a regular person. I used to be in the Navy, and I spent a lot of time in the Navy. And from the financial perspective, I didn't make any money really to retire on. And so busy with that and kids or whatnot, I had to figure out a way that I could speed up the process of retirement, because I'm like, oh man, I don't want to hit, my 40s or my 50s and my 60s and have no plan at all. So I actually started working this plan in my 20s. And so after listening to a lot of people, like Dave Ramsey, a lot of people like Robert Kiyosaki, a lot of people like Grant Cardone, all of those guys, and reading a lot of books, and then taking, most of my guidance really from the pages of the Bible, I decided to kind of create a plan. And every year I started adding different things into the plan. But the one thing that I realized is that I needed to figure out how to turn my money, my current funds, and then grow them really fast, and then make income from those funds all the time. And the one thing that I always had in my head is, how can I retire sooner? And so I've always been thinking about that. And then another question I had is, how can I do what I love? And so that I don't have to have this pressure of retiring by a certain age. So that way I could go past 62 and not feel like I'm working still. So I wanted to accomplish all of that. So after the Navy, I decided and during the Navy, I decided to start studying how to do that. And I got a degree in marketing, digital marketing. And so I decided to have a business that would generate my living expenses. Then on the side, I decided to invest in real estate. And now, that's what I have today. That's what I have. I have real estate, and then I have a business that produces my income. So the real estate portion, I never touch. I never live on that money. So I can compound that. So my living expenses have to be covered by the business. And I also wanted to build this business, which is a digital marketing business, automations and all this kind of stuff, geeky stuff. So that business needed to work without me. So if you talk about like Rich Dad's cash flow quadrant, I wanted to be on the right side of the quadrant, being a business owner, owning a business that does not need me to run it. And then I also wanted to be on the I side of the quadrant as well, being an investor, and that investing would go into real estate. So what I've been doing here on this channel is documenting how I'm doing that. I am, like I said, I am not a professional, but I have been doing this, and I do this every single day, and every day for the past, 22 weeks, you have been watching me, and you can go back and watch me on my channel, making calls and talking to sellers about their property. And I'm looking for two things all the time. I'm looking for a discount on a property. I have bought properties from realtors, but I discovered that realtors don't give you a discount. They want to sell it for as high as possible because that's how they make the most commission, right? And so I need a discount. So I need off market discounted properties. And after doing all kinds of stuff to try to find them, I discovered, you know what? I have a degree in marketing. I'm just going to set a side of my business to go after properties and find them, talk to people. So I had to learn how to negotiate. And, you know, having ran a marketing business for a very long time, I decided that those skills were going to help me negotiate with sellers and get a better discount. So 10 to 20 all the time. I will never buy a property that at least I don't have 10% discount on it. Unless we go into part number 2, what kind of properties? If a seller is willing to give me a mortgage, act as the bank, they are financing the property for me, then I can go past the fair market value. I can go above fair market value by 10, 20, or 30%. Never go above 30%. I never do, because what happens is you don't know where the economy is going to go, and then the margins get thin. But if I do that, I need to have 2 things in place, and that is cash flow. So can you retire on $1 million, or how can we retire on $1 million? This is my plan, and I'm putting it out, so I hope it helps you. So I decided to look into property. So I started wholesaling properties to make chunks of change, then put those into rentals. So I knew that rental income was key in cash flow. So that's why my channel is named Cash Flow First. You know, I was used to play Robert Kiyosaki's game, Cash Flow 101. And so that taught me a lot. So I started to try to do it in real life. And it is, I think it is, in concept, is easier than the game, but in execution is a lot more difficult than you ever imagined, because you have to negotiate with sellers and people are yelling at you and all this kind of stuff. So I decided to go in and continue to get these properties wholesaling. Then I decided to go and flipping them, but I discovered that was a mistake. So I readjusted, because I was selling them. When I'm wholesaling and flipping them, I'm not keeping the cash flow. So I needed to refocus and come back and cash flow these properties by at least $300 per month, right? So I decided to go into that. So I started doing tax liens, tax deeds, and I discovered that LTV, low LTV, gave me a better yield for my money. So instead of buying a property, you know, and pay for it with my own cash, 100% of the price, I discovered to put into multiple little properties, you know, low LTV, low loan to value, to have control of the real estate. So if you have control of the real estate, then that is what really helps you. So you can do that through lease options. You can do it with agreements for deed, that type of stuff, you know, and we can talk about that later. I can make a video on that if you would like me to. Comment below and let me know. And while you're doing that, subscribe, give me a thumbs up. But long story short, what ended up happening is I discovered the power of having the seller be my bank. I tried going through the bank, getting approved. Terrible credit, had terrible credit. You know, while I was in the military, I had fantastic credit, because the military is like they know that you have good credit when you're in the military. Like they sort of, I don't know how that works, but as soon as I went into the military, everybody was giving me credit for everything. So, you know, but then after having left the military, I was in the reserves. It wasn't the same, and I went through banks and blah blah blah, and I couldn't buy as many properties. So kept studying, kept reading books and everything else, and this is just my early 20s. And so I discovered the power of buying properties with either seller financing, the seller would give me credit to buy that house, right? Or that piece of land, or that commercial property, right? So I've done restaurants and houses that way. So I discovered that it was such an amazing tool, and I discovered the power of zero. And the power of zero pretty much taught me that today's price is one thing, but 30 years from today, that price was going to be super affordable in the eyes of somebody. So let's do it in reverse. Let's reverse engineer. 40 years ago, let's just say 40, 50 years ago, people could buy houses for $7,000, brand new houses. That is incredible today. You would not believe that was possible. So when I understood that, paying $7,000, which was back then, I think this is in the 1950s or 60s, something like that, after the war, I think. So, but you think back in that time and you're like, man, like you could buy a house, a brand new house for $7,000. How many of you would buy a house today, brand new, for $7,000? I'm the first one. I'm like, boom, I'm writing the check. I don't care if that's retail value, right? So that's what happens, is like, as time goes on, things get more expensive and all this kind of stuff. So $7,000 seems like nothing today. So that's what the banks do. The banks look at, they give you a mortgage for 30 years, right? Because they know that in 30 years, that house, typically, if you go back and you do some Google searches, which is what I started doing, I'm like, how much do people on average, when they get a 30-year mortgage, by the time they make their last payment, how much did they really pay for that house? And I discovered that the average was 2.6 times the value of that house. So if you just do quick math, you buy a property for, let's say, $100,000, quick math, right? And you pay retail for that house. You paid $100,000. In 30 years' time, that means that house, you'll end up paying $260,000 for that house. Crazy. Why pay, almost 3 times? Some people do pay 3 times or above 3 times the value by the time they make their last payment. What does that mean? That means the bank just made $160,000 from you, from your hard-earned effort, money, your time away from your kids, time away. And thus I started thinking about that. And I'm like, oh no, heck no, I'm not going to do that. Why would I want to go get loans from banks? So because they wouldn't even give me the loans anyway. So instead of working on my credit and doing all that stuff, I decided I'm going to have to figure out, how can I do this without the help of the banks? I discovered the power of zero. And then I'd go to a seller and say, hey, I'd give you retail if you give me, my terms. No problem. I don't mind doing that. So what I ended up doing is I got good at that, and I still implement that today. And when I say good, I mean, I got persistent. It's not like some magic pill that I took and now I have all the practice in the world. Anybody can do this. You can do this even better than me. I guarantee it. But I just started asking people, hey, if I give you your price, can you help me with the financing? That is the question I ask everybody. And so that's what I do. And that's what you're going to see on this video. And that's what you're going to see in previous videos. So now let's do the math real quick before I start making phone calls and show you how I do it. Most people tell you what you should do, but I want to show you what I've been doing. So if I tell you what I'm doing, and then I show you how I've been doing it, I believe that is a lot of value for you. I believe that you can implement it very quickly on your own. So my goal at the time was to retire on $1 million. Now my goal is to retire on $3 million, but that seems like very low. but it makes sense once I explain it to you. So let's just take $1 million. This is my plan. I was writing it down. So if I had $1 million, my initial thought was I'm going to go wholesale real estate. You know, remember my company, my marketing company pays for my expenses. So I don't touch any money that I do in real estate. So if I go in wholesale and then keep all the money, I think it's a bad idea when people wholesale and live on the money they make from wholesale or flipping or whatever. I think that's a bad idea, really, really bad idea, because if a deal goes south, then your wife, your kids, they will pay the consequences or of your bad mistakes on, you know, on a one property can be devastating. And that's what I discovered, not by experience, but by you know, watching and reading and stuff like that. That's why I decided my company, my digital marketing company, was going to pay for my living expenses, but then everything I generated from wholesaling and flipping was going to go right back into rental property income. So I said, if I could do $1 million, that was my plan, my play, which I'm still doing today. You know, I'm still building that, but my goal is new now. It's $3 million. So hopefully, you know, with the hopes of doing it to $10 million, but I don't need that much. And I'm going to show you how or why. So if I took $1 million and then on top of it, I didn't go to a bank to finance rental properties so I could generate rental retirement income. This is key. I hope you get it. I'm doing my best to explain it. So if I did that, and instead of that, I asked the seller to finance the property for me, thus the seller is making the money that the bank would make, right? Not as much, of course. I don't want to pay as much. I want to pay less than that, right? Then I could stretch my $1 million by, you know, diversified it throughout multiple different properties, right? By the way, when the seller is making that much money, right, as the bank is, you know, you can negotiate what the seller would make. And most of the time, they want very small interest rates. Sometimes they don't even ask about them. They don't even ask about a down payment sometimes. They just want their monthly payments. And I have sold properties on that plan on, you know, I'll sell or finance it to you. I'll be your bank. And that is like so easy. I love selling properties that way. When I do sell, I sell on seller finance. I sell on terms, right? So there's power in that because there's benefits for the buyer and for the seller. I rather me as the buyer or the seller, and then the seller, you know, like the two parties were making the money that the bank would make. That to me is key, is golden. So let's discuss what I'm gonna do today to apply that logic. If I have $1 million, then, you know, I don't need stocks. I listen to Dave Ramsey. I listen to all these people, and oh, you gotta be in stocks and all this kind of stuff. Listen, you do you, but to me personally, and I'm not criticizing Dave Ramsey at all. Okay, so please do not get that feeling from me. They do themselves, whatever. To me, Dave Ramsey is very smart because he has a very loud microphone and a lot of people listen to him. So for me to sit here and criticize him, I won't do that. A lot of real estate people do that, but I don't, you know, because, you know, people listen to him and I got to respect that. That's his business. And, you know, it's impressive that so many people listen to him. So anyway, but his advice was just not for me. It was just not for me because I'm like, oh, heck no, I'm not waiting until I'm 62 to retire. I'm just not going to do that, you know? But what I did do is $1 million and buy properties on creative finance. That's it. So that $1 million, if I have a down payment of 10% per property, and let's say the average property is for sake of simplicity, because it averages out, because some people don't ask for a down payment. So bear with me here. So if I could buy $100,000 properties, which in some parts of Florida you can, and then in the Midwest you can, in areas like that. So that's what I wanted to focus on. So if I were to put down $10,000 down payments, how many properties could I buy with $1 million, right? So let's see, 10 is $100,000, right? And 100 is $1 million. So I can buy 100 properties with $10,000 down payments. All I have to do is put in a ton of work and negotiate with the sellers, which is what I'm doing today. So, if you want to do the math with me, you just divide $1 million by 10, right? And so if I do it there with you now, so we do 1 million divided by $10,000. That is 100 properties. And so now if we take 100 properties, in each one of them, let's say cash flows only at, let's suppose $200. Okay. That is 20 grand per month. And we can do that. We can cash flow $200 per property. That's after, I don't want to do toilets or anything like that. I don't want to deal with the tenants. That is after paying the property management company to do that, and then saving from the rent for each rental, a certain amount in case some vacancies or whatever, all of that stuff, CapEx, what they call CapEx, all of those expenses, utilities, everything and anything and everything. I could be at $200 per property if I had $1 million, right? And so I just started working on that. So I'm gonna make $1 million, and then I'm gonna put it into rental real estate, so I can generate rental income. So, but I wanted to diversify that even further, so I started looking into commercial and into land. And not everybody asks for a down payment, and so that's what I'm doing today. And that's what I do every day. I find properties here on my channel and I show you those properties. So now the invitation is, if you want to do some of those properties, a lot of properties I don't keep. I have to pass them on to somebody else because they just don't fit in what I'm trying to do, right? Because it's my own plan. So I invite you to develop your own plan accordingly and get to it. Do some creative finance deals, take over people's bank payments, that type of stuff. Is there risk? Yeah, there is risk. But out of 100 properties, one of them may burn down and have such a problem that I'll never get that money back. But listen, it was $10,000, and I'll still have, $19,800 coming in from the other rentals. It doesn't really matter to me because I bought them. I accessed the real estate for only 10 grand. Okay. Now, if there is a problem property, which I've had before, I just go ahead and sell it, but I'll sell it on terms, and then I'll be the bank, and then that property pays me. Now, I'm not responsible at all for anything on that property. I sell to somebody else. The owner is the owner. Somebody else now is the owner, and they pay me as they would pay the bank, right? And I get monthly payments, but I get a down payment in order for me to sell them. I always take a down payment when I sell. And guess what? Guess how much payment I'm going to take. If I'm financing something to somebody, I am taking at least the money I had invested in it, plus a little bit more. Plus I have my monthly payments. Now that's what I call infinite returns, because I got my money back. and whatever I'm selling it for, is just the icing on top. So that's what I'm doing today. I wanted to let you guys know what my plan is. So as you watch my videos, you know what I'm working towards, and I invite you to do it. I don't mess with stocks at all. I don't mess with any of that stuff. Why? Because $1 million gives you $1 million worth of stock, right? Or let's say you invest half of it, it gives you $500,000 worth of stock. But with the 100 properties, if I take $1 million and I do exactly what I just explained, then let's say each property is worth $100,000. Let's do quick math here. Each is worth $100,000, and I own 100 of them. That is $10 million, right? So I have to do the math here because I don't want to make mistakes. I could do it in my head, but if I made a mistake, people would comment and stuff. So just gotta make sure. And this is a live training, okay? So I don't edit my videos. It's just the raw footage. So I hope you appreciate that, because I don't want you to just hear the good. Like you can do all this stuff like magic or whatever. It's really hard work, and I want you to see me struggle with this stuff. I'm documenting my journey. I'm not trying to sell you a course or anything like that. So what I'm trying to sell you is that you do this with me, and maybe you can pick up some of the properties that I don't want for low LTV, or other JV ventures. We can buy property together. That's really the main reason that I wanted to connect with you. Maybe we can do some deals together where we both make money. I do a ton of work, and you just come in, roll in, and you just reap a lot of the benefits. Yeah, I don't mind that at all, because it's networking, in my opinion. And so the more people I help, like what's his name? Influential speaker, I can't remember. Max Maxwell's teacher, not Max Maxwell. Somebody, some brainiac guy said, the more people I help, the more successful I get. So that is why I'm doing this, just to help you guys out. I have nothing to sell. You won't see anything in the description below to click and purchase something. I'm not going to do that, right? So like a course or anything like that, I'm not going to sell you a course, but I do want to help you. So $1 million will allow us to buy $10 million worth of real estate or more. That is the answer. So to close this first portion is, can you retire on $1 million? Switch to, how can I retire on $1 million? I just explained it. In addition to that, how can $1 million help me own $10 million worth of real estate that cash flows and pays me $20,000 per month? And that is how. It just depends on how much you want to do that, and you're gonna own more, because, like I said, some people will not give you or ask you for a down payment. So now that we are done with that, let's make some phone calls. Let's make some phone calls here, so I can show you how I talk to these people, to these sellers. So I do a ton of digital marketing and cold calling. I bring all those people, put them on a CRM, a customer relationship management software. And then from there, I start calling them and start negotiating with them. We just go through the process. I personally buy about one property per month, maybe one property every 2 months. Now with my partners, we do about 5 to 10 per month. And even though, I'm doing the load of the work, they're doing other stuff, or they bring money into the deal, or whatever the case might be. But I retain a small percentage in each property, which brings me cash flow, very small, but it brings it to me. or when they go and resell, of course, I get that as well. But I get capital preservation, which is what is one of the things that is very, very important to me. Because if I make $1 million, I want to keep $1 million and I want to grow it. I don't want to use any of that money for retirement. None at all. I see a lot of financial advisors were telling me, oh, save $1 million and then, spend it all before you die, basically, is what they were saying. Because you take out from the $1 million to live. And I'm like, that is dumb. Who would do that? Because what if I don't live that long? I want to live now. I want to retire. And I want to do things that I want to do now, not later. Because tomorrow is not promised. That is the reason I don't do that. And I hope you can appreciate that, because I don't think anyone should. Save, work for 62 years or until age 62. And then what happens if you die at age 63 and you only took out, one year worth of your savings? You spent 1 year worth of your savings. What happened? That money goes to somebody else. I don't care if it's the heirs. I don't care if it's your kids. Your kids didn't have you, right? So I don't want that. That's why you see me here at home. My kids just went downstairs, to homeschool and stuff with my wife and everything else. But I'm here with them, and I didn't want to have this lifestyle where I never see my kids. I don't like that. I had it when I was in the Navy. I did it because I did it for the country, but that's it. That's the extent of it. I want to be around. So I apologize. I'm focusing here on calling the next person here. This property sold. So I'm moving on to the next. So now let's call and let's find people who are willing to finance their properties for us. Okay.
You've reached the phone of Christy Cox.
Okay, no answer. Okay, no answer there. So I'll move on to the next. No answer. Okay. All right, so next. I hope you can hear it ringing. Once they pick up, I'll get my microphone closer to the speaker. Hey, David, good morning. This is Ben. How are you?
I get the wrong number.
Oh,
No David here. Thanks.
no, David. Okay, thanks. Okay, so Wisconsin. It's not sold. This property here, $140,000 estimate on Zillow, with a potential $1,200 a month. And the estimated refi payment is about $900. So I can see there a $300 spread. This would be a fantastic thing. I don't mind paying 140 grand for it, as long as I get a loan from the seller. I don't really care, you know. I'll look for a discount, you know. I'll try to get a discount, but that's okay. No answer. So there's a portion where things do slow down. There's the portion where it's very, very time consuming, but it's my retirement. Hey, Dale, how are you? This is Ben. Can you hear me okay?
Hello, who's this?
Yeah, this is Ben. You spoke to my assistant here a while back about your property on Spruce Street.
Could you hold on a second, please?
Sure. Yeah, I can hear you.
You said this is
Yeah, Ben, you spoke to my assistant about your property on Spruce Street.
I did. When did I do that?
This was a while ago. Let me see the date. Let me see if I can pull it up here. This is back in April 2022.
April of last year of 22?
Yes.
Jeez. You guys really need to update your records because that house has been sold since October of 21.
Ooh, okay.
So you guys have definitely got to get caught up on these things.
Yeah. Well, sometimes the public record, you know, it doesn't update us quickly. But I apologize for disturbing you, and you have a good day. I'll update the records. Thank you.
Yep. Thank you.
Have a good day. Bye-bye. Sold the house.
Call has been forwarded to an automated.
Okay, no answer. Let's see here.
Hello.
Hey, Scott, how are you? This is Ben.
This is.
Yeah, this is Ben. You had spoken to my assistant about your property there on 6th Avenue Southeast.
I haven't talked to anybody about my property at 6th Avenue.
Okay. It was a while ago, so I apologize that I'm calling you a few months later. Are you at the time, the notes here say that you were interested in selling. Are you still interested in selling it?
No, I never was.
You never were. Okay. If you were to sell it, would it be anytime soon, or would it be like years later?
It'll be when I die.
I understand. No problem. So, okay, well, keep my number. If you ever do change your mind, things change all the time. So you let me know. My name is Ben.
Yeah, okay.
Thank you, sir. That happens all the time, all the time.
Hello, this is Kama Johnson with Arch Mortgage Insurance. I'm either on the
This looks like it could be a beautiful rental here.
Hello?
Yes, hello. My name is Ben. A while ago, you spoke to my assistant about your property there on First Avenue.
I saw them. They're all sold. Take me up here.
Everything sold. Okay, thank you. I don't show a sale. Okay, sold. Let's see here. This one I did see. Sold again. Well, a bunch of them have sold. So
please leave your message for 61.
okay.
Hello?
Yeah, Patrick, how are you? This is Ben.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was just calling you back. You had spoken to my assistant about your property there on Oliver Avenue, and I wanted to see if you were still planning on moving forward and selling it. Oh, I assume that's a no.
Well,
Yes, hello. JJB Properties.
yes.
Yeah, we had a chat about a property that you own, or I don't know if you still own it on 20th Avenue Southwest.
Okay.
Just wanted to see if you were still planning on selling it.
No, not at this time.
Okay, you're renting it out, I assume.
Okay. Yep, we are.
Gotcha. Okay, thank you.
Okay. Okay,
Bye-bye.
thank you. Yep.
So,
Please leave your message for 612.
Hello. Please leave a message.
Okay, no answer.
Hey, this is John. Leave me a message. I'll give you. Hello.
Yes, hello. I was calling back. My name is Ben. You had spoken to my assistant about your property there on 3rd Avenue.
Yeah, can you? I'm not able to hear you properly.
Okay. Did you
Yeah.
say?
So can you repeat?
Yep. I was just calling you back. I think you were interested in possibly selling it, so I was wanting to see if you were still planning on selling that property.
Which one is that?
That is 615 3rd Avenue Southeast.
No, I wasn't too keen on selling it.
Do you have any that you want to sell?
Not right now.
Not right now. Okay. Are you buying and renting out, or are you buying and flipping them? What do you do? You're an investor, right?
I'm buying and renting out.
Mm-hmm. Buying, rent out. Okay.
Oh, so what are you doing? Are you investing?
I invest, but I only end up keeping like one every 2 months or something. The rest of them, I try to get rid of them because they just don't fit my criteria. So I always try, when I find somebody like you, I try to connect and see maybe you might be interested in the deals I'm not interested in.
Okay. Sure. Yeah. So if you're finding anything interesting, let's talk. And then, so you usually do you flip and rent as well?
So I got out of flipping a long time ago, but
Okay.
if the deal is good, I will flip it. But right now it's kind of difficult with the stuff that's going on in the market, so I don't foresee flipping anymore right now. So my focus is to buy and rent it out.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's what I've been doing for a while. So do you think the market is going down? Is that why you stopped flipping?
I'm not sure about the market going down. What I do know is a lot of people think that it is, and so makes it difficult to sell for a good price. When you go flip it, go to sell it, the buyers are becoming a lot more aggressive.
Okay. And
Yeah.
when we are buying, then do you think there are more deals coming onto the market?
Yes, I do. I do see that there's an increase in deals for sure.
And then the price is getting a little bit more real.
Yep, the prices are people are beginning to realize that they can't sell for as much as they wanted to. Also because buyers, like I said, are becoming very aggressive, and buyers have a little bit more options right now.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So do you invest in Minneapolis and Rochester, or
Yes.
just in Rochester?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep, I do.
So how is the scene in Minneapolis?
Okay.
So how is the situation in Minneapolis and St. Paul?
It's pretty much what I described. I was mainly talking about Minneapolis.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Sure. So, but you're still looking in Rochester, right?
That's correct. That's correct. Yeah, I also do things like say like in Florida or something. I do some things there in Florida as well. But Florida is not slowing down at all. I mean, I think that the Florida market is actually going up still. But yeah, that's what I was saying. Like what I was talking about mainly Minneapolis.
Okay.
Mhm.
Yeah. So, your name is Ben, right?
Yeah, Ben, Ben. Yes, sir.
Ben. Yeah. So yeah, it's nice chatting with you, man. We should catch up and
Sure.
exchange some information and to see to help both of us to keep going.
That's right. Tell me your name because I only have KK here as your name. What is your name?
Yeah. My first name is Karunya, Karu, and as in Nancy, YA.
Okay.
And which areas do you invest in Florida? Because I do in Jacksonville and Tallahassee.
No kidding. Yeah, I'm in Jacksonville, but right now I'm currently in South Florida, just doing some projects down here. But Jacksonville is my main market.
Okay, so do you invest in single family or condos?
I do anything and everything in Florida. Anything that's a good deal that we can rent out.
So is it getting hard to find deals in Florida now?
It is a little bit hard in Florida. It's hard, but I still get deals. I still get deals in Florida.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Because I invested mostly in condos in Florida.
Okay. Yeah. Condos are good. So you're looking for condos in Jacksonville?
Yeah, condos in Jacksonville around the south side would be ideal. That's where I have most of my stuff.
Yeah, South Side. I used to live in South Side. Okay.
That Bay Meadows area?
Yeah, Bay Meadows. That's right. Yeah, I used to live right there. Okay, that is zip code is 32257. I think it is.
Well,
yeah. Can you hear me? Okay. Can you hear me? Okay. Oh, I lost it. Okay, so this is a buyer. Okay, so when I get a buyer like this, I put him in a section here for my buyers. Buyer. Six, 1, 5. Okay. So I will enter him to my database in a little bit. So let's move on to the next one. Let me text him. I lost. I think you were driving. catch up. Talk about some deals. Okay. So now move on to the next. So this one sold right here. Okay. So yeah, you make a lot of connections with all kind of people, which is always hello. How are you, Carrie? This is Ben. Yes, yes. You had spoken to my assistant about your property there on Cedar Avenue. I was just calling to see if you were still planning on selling it.
I'll sell anything for the right price at the right time.
Okay, what price would that be?
I already told your assistant. I've already been through all this and I'm at work right now, so this is really not a good time.
Okay, maybe I can follow up after work.
That would be good. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye. Modern Piping. Please leave your name, number, and a short message, and I will get back to you shortly.
At the tone, please record your message. When you've finished recording, you may hang up or call has been forwarded to an automatic voice message system.
This has been sold. This is for sale. Wonder if it's listed with an agent. Yeah.
Hello,
Yes, hello, good morning, Phyllis. This is Ben.
Ben.
Yes, I was calling about your property there in on Juanita Court.
Yeah, I sold it.
Oh, you sold it. Okay. Did you get a good price?
I believe so.
You think so?
Well, what is it going for now?
Oh, I don't know. I was calling to see if you wanted to sell, but you sold it.
Yes, I did.
Yeah. Do you have any other property?
No, I don't. Not in
Okay.
Florida.
Not in Florida. So where are you?
I'm in New York.
You're in New York. Okay. So you invest in Florida?
Yes,
You
I
invest.
did.
Okay. Well, I may have some opportunities for you if in Florida if you're willing to take a look.
No, I'm not. I'm not at this point in my life.
Okay. Okay. No problem. No problem. Well,
Thank you.
keep my phone number if you ever change your mind.
Thank you.
Thank you, fellas. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye. Investor. Sold it.
Hello.
Yes, hello, Tom. How are you? This is Ben.
Pardon me?
This is Ben. I was calling you back. You had spoken to my assistant about your property there on 14th Avenue.
What was this for?
Yeah. Your property on 14th Avenue. I wanted to see if you were still planning on selling it and moving forward with that.
No, we're not selling.
Okay. Do you have any other properties you might want to sell?
No, I do not at this time.
Not this time. So when should I follow up and see if if things have changed?
I think we're done for today.
Okay. So perfectly executed script, but they weren't going to change their mind. So I have no property here to look at.
Reached mailbox number.
No address, okay. All right. No address. Okay. Still have all these properties with no address. I wonder why. address. Okay. Okay, so I mean, I'm not sure why the CRM we have apparently recorded a bunch of properties with no address. So now let's dial this one here, North Carolina.
Hi, the person you've reached is using a screening service from Google and will get.
Sold it. Again, no address. Oh my goodness, this is. You will encounter this all the time, you know, as you market and stuff. It's just a lot of time that we have to spend just kind of taking a look at things that are out of place. Okay, here we go. Oklahoma, let's see. They sold it. Okay, let's see if we do some follow-ups on people whom we have already talked to. Okay, so let's see here. Okay, let me call Brenda. I spoke to her a few videos back.
Hi, you've reached Brenda Show.
Okay, she didn't pick up. She didn't pick up. Let's see. No answer. Okay. All right. Okay. So she didn't pick up. This guy over here, we spoke to, and There was some miscommunication here somewhere.
Hello.
Hello, Miss Field. How are you? This is Ben.
Who are you?
We spoke a couple days ago about your property. I spoke to you and Mr. Leonard about Pauline Avenue. Do you recall? Can you hear me okay? Phone disconnected. I will try back. Okay. Okay, so now let's today has been a little bit of slim pickings. So let me try and show you guys. We cold call people also to find these deals. So I'm gonna do that just to kind of show you. This is the hardest thing about this business is the cold calling. If you thought that was hard, the follow-ups, this is even harder. So let me just kind of show you real quick. Make a few phone calls here. Now I'm logging into a dialer, and this dialer uses a triple line. You know what? We'll skip that today. I showed you that last time. So let's call a seller here that we are trying to get under contract, but she is not cooperating too much. Let's see here.
Hi, this is Eddie. I'm sorry I missed your call. Please leave your name and
Nothing. Today doesn't seem to be a good day, and I apologize. Yesterday was also a little bit rough. So we are probably just going to take a break here, and then we'll come back to do another session, and hopefully that will go better than this one. But in the meantime, please remember that this is a channel where I'm documenting my journey, so I am not putting, oh, you know, like a bunch of hype. I'm not hyping anything. I'm showing you the raw footage of everything I am doing, and hopefully it helps you in your journey. Let me know if there's anything I can do. Subscribe, like, comment below, and then hit me up on my there's a way to connect with me in the description below. I'll see you next time. Thank you.